I've been 56 years in this party. I've never been more ashamed to be a Tory.
We only ever hear about the people who need stuff, not about the people, what do they call it, the squeezed middle?
Is there a reason to vote Conservative as a young person? I can't give you an answer because I don't think there is one.
I thought this party used to understand economics.
I'm here in Birmingham for the Conservative Party Conference, and what a year it has been. We've had Partygate, Boris Johnson was kicked out, we're in a cost of living crisis now, and within the first few weeks of being Prime Minister, Liz Truss has certainly been shaking things up. And with the latest YouGov poll showing that Labour's 33 points ahead of the Conservatives, how is she going to turn this around? Let's find out, shall we? The Chancellor announced the mini budget with the 45% tax cut, and then he did a U-turn on that tax cut this morning. What were your thoughts about that tax cut in general? Did you agree with it? Did you not agree with it?
It was an own goal. You didn't need to do it in the first place. You didn't need to listen. And it makes me ask, if you're so clever at what you do, how did you make such an obvious mistake?
Nobody's ever contacted me over the past 3 years to say, I earn 150 grand, please reduce my taxes.
I lived through the last trickle down. I won't be rude. It didn't work then. A banker getting £1,000 a week tax cut banks it. It's the right idea. Grow the economy. I've been saying it for years. But it's the plan. The implementation is the wrong one.
I think it's the right thing to reverse the decision and so we can stop talking about it now and hopefully you lot will shut up talking about it and talk about something else.
You know, they disregarded the OBR forecast and then they've gone for meetings with the OBR. Do they actually know what they're doing?
Well, it does make you wonder sometimes.
Yes, I think Liz has a plan and we do need a shake-up, but the markets don't like it.
Do you think that Liz Truss will be able to recover from that?
Let's put it this way, with a start like this, there's only one way you can go, and that's up.
We need to give her time. I mean, she's been around just for a few weeks.
But she was in government, in Boris's government before, so do you not think that maybe she should have a lot more experience than that?
She's not been...
So would you say Liz Truss is a poor communicator?
To be honest, yes, I think that's not one of her strengths.
As she says, she's not the slickest person. You know, she wasn't as slick and polished as Rishi, but people do like her, and she does get stuff done.
There's been talks about infighting. We had Penny Mordaunt speaking out against Liz's decisions about benefits. Do you think that she's presenting herself as a leader who can unite this party?
I think the answer was in the way she was received in the hall today. The reception in the hall was 100%.
So would you say this is a united Conservative Party at the moment, or not united?
Well, primarily it's not a Conservative Party. The Conservative Party doesn't know what it is. When you had Boris Johnson, you had a figure, get Brexit done. We knew that. There's a streak of populism to it.
Do you think Rishi Sunak is a better alternative than Liz Truss?
I voted for Rishi in the leadership election.
Do you wish he was in power now?
I think it would have been better were he in power now, yes, definitely.
Do you think that the cap on energy bills and supporting businesses, is that enough?
Well, it's a move in the right direction. Look, we've given people certainty over the coming months. You know, they know now they're not going to have to face these £6,000 and £7,000 fuel bills. That's a good thing. It's good that we've listened to business as well.
They've so screwed up the market that my mortgage has gone up £750 a month, where I'm getting a £5 tax cut. Even on a domestic front, we've gone from 1,000 to 2,500, and they're selling it as a big deal.
I have to say, I was really heartened by the help that I personally am getting. I mean, I do rattle about in a big old house and I've been thinking, oh, shall I put the heating on?
Now the cost of living is gone sky high and nurses are less paid. And they half salary they paid in the car parking in their own workplace. Do you work anywhere where you have to pay half your salary in the car park?
Now that I don't have a mortgage, it's quite nice that the interest rates are going back up slightly because we've been getting absolutely zip on our interest rates and on our savings for a long time. I remember, because I'm old enough, that back when I was a youngster, uni married, we were paying, 15, 16+%. Youngsters expect an awful lot more these days. When I was young, you had to save to do things.
It used to be that a house on average was about 2 to 3 to 4 times your annual salary, whereas now it's like nearly 8 times your annual salary. So, the housing market, it's gone up drastically.
Yes, and I suppose culturally, our society has always been you have to own your own home, or that's what you should aspire to, own your own home. But then if you look at places like Italy in particular, or Germany, they don't actually aspire necessarily to own their own home. They're quite happy to rent and then use the rest of the money to enjoy themselves.
Benefits rising with inflation, that hasn't been guaranteed. What are your thoughts on that?
It's a tough one because we've got people that's working hard on low wages. They're probably getting 3% pay rises, and then they see somebody who's on benefits getting 9-10%. So that's a tough one to balance. So we've got to keep it fair. We've got to upskill people, get people better training, better education, better opportunities. If we can get that and get them better paid jobs without subsidising the wages, that's got to be the way forward.
We only ever hear about the people who need stuff, not about the people, what do they call it, the squeezed middle? People like us, we're never poor enough to get any benefits, and we're not rich either, so we get stuffed either way.
So do you agree with Liz Truss that we should relax the rules on immigration and get more skilled workers in?
No, I don't agree with that at all. I never have done. I think there's enough skill in this country. I think on every street in the UK there's a doctor, a brain surgeon, a lawyer, a barrister.
Well, I don't know why she did that, because grassroots Conservatives have been saying for years the Brexit referendum ultimately was on immigration. So I don't understand where this comes from.
The YouGov poll that just came out, which said that Labour was like 33 points ahead. Do you think the Conservatives have any chance of winning the next election?
I think the next election's probably 2 years away, and 2 years is a very, very long time in politics. But I think what the YouGov poll shows us is that we need to rebuild the public's trust.
Do you think the Conservatives are going to win the next election? I feel like I can guess your answer.
Sadly, no. We've lost credibility, and whatever we do, we won't get it back.
We're going to only try.
You can only try. Is Liz Truss the woman to do that?
Yes, trust the process. Why would you vote Conservative if you have nothing to conserve? You can't buy a house, you can't get a decent job. You're going to have to give them a reason to vote Conservative. Where's the aspiration?
Yes. I think it's too early to say.
I really hope so.
Ask me that in a couple of years' time.
And is Liz Truss the woman to do that?
We'll have to wait and find that out as well, I think.
At the moment, no, obviously not. And I say thank you very much to the Conservative Party, because my election, the local election, is next May. So thank you once again for stuffing it all up.
Well, that was quite the conference, with a U-turn on the 45% tax cut and infighting on whether benefits should rise with inflation. And generally, the mood has been, well, confusing. As compared to the Labour conference, people seem to be far less certain if the Conservatives will win the next election. But that's not for a while, so let's see if Liz Truss will turn this around.